Shut your fucking mouth and get some cash, you bitch. You be in your feelings, I be in my bag, you bitch. Santa reindeer better have some ass, you bitch. Everything I'm working gotta be the cash, you bitch. Shut your fucking mouth and get some cash, you bitch. You be in your feelings, I be in my bag, you bitch. Santa reindeer better have some ass, you bitch. Everything I'm working gotta be the. We don't want problems. We don't want trick. We don't want dollars. We want the big. We don't want problems. We don't want trick. We don't want dollars. We don't want trick. We don't want problems. We don't want problems. We don't want trick.
I ran out of beer before I was done drinking, and I ran out of lung capacity before I was done getting high. So the only thing that's going to put me in a good mood now is to go into an irate fury and just simply lose all control in a crash out frequency. I've reached the other side of the manic depressive spiral. If you saw my last video, Crash Out Chronicles Volume 1, that was the depressive side of the manic depressive spiral. Now I'm on the manic side, but it's not positive mania, unfortunately. Usually it is. I'm usually pretty positive mania, sometimes positive depression. Not lately. Not lately. Negative depression, negative mania, actually to a degree that would have alarmed me until I made that last video, where I was actually scared by how much self-control I exhibited. I don't know if you noticed that in the text of that video, I kept mentioning how it was weird to me watching it back, how unemotional I seemed. And like I was watching it back, I'm like, I remember feeling so much more distraught than I look. And so that became a big part of the sort of meta text of the video, for those of you who actually read it. We'll talk about some people who didn't. This video is going to be a comment response video. I didn't expect to be crashing out the next day after making the crash out. Yeah, I did. What am I talking about? I even said that it could happen in the text. Depending on the way people responded to the video, but it's not really the response. I think I knew it was coming anyway. I don't think any kind of response could have prevented it. It's too circumstantial to just continuing to be inside of so many games, you know, like, you know how Kendrick's Super Bowl performance was a game inside of a game, where like he's in a PlayStation game inside of a football game, inside of the game that is America, and he's commenting on it on like all these meta layers. I'm inside of the game of like, I live with my parents. I'm inside of the game of I'm a YouTuber, and I'm inside of the game of I live in America. So that's like my trifecta of games. And that first game should be easy. It should theoretically be easy. And I know a lot of you are thinking, what are you talking about? Having a good relationship with your parents isn't easy. I know. But it should be, right? Like, shouldn't the people who are closest to you, who have the most involvement in your life, especially if you live at home with them, shouldn't that be the people who you're the most coordinated with? And maybe the way I think is unique. I don't know. I feel like the people who are in your immediate family that you have the most trust and experience with are the people that you should have the most on the same page with you. So it's deeply frustrating when you feel like you can't get the people around you to listen. And when you also feel like you can't get the people you talk to on the internet, of which there are thousands, to listen. And some of you do. We'll also get to you, don't worry. This is not all a negative video. I'm gonna make a couple of people feel really terrible about themselves in this video. Some of you won't. You'll be like, it wasn't me though. That's fine. But I'll also make some people feel really good in this video, because I'm gonna read a bunch of comments and respond to them. in regards to my previous crash out video. I personally blame Elon Musk for all of this, by the way. Neither of my parents are at fault. This is all Elon Musk's fault. Elon Musk is responsible for everything, all right? All negative energy, just take it, aim it at the top. I know you're thinking somebody else is just going to take a spot. And guess what you do to that guy? Until somebody stops trying to take the get shot spot. Anyway, like, I know some of you are like, that's ridiculous. You are ridiculous. Sorry. But anyways, we're all ridiculous. I'm not in a great mood. That's why when I post online, it's bait. It's always bait. It's bait. I want a conversation. I'm trying to start a conversation. If I'm not in a good mood, it's going to be an intense conversation. This makes a lot of people scared of interacting with me. I think you should always be scared of interacting with everyone. That's how I feel. Interaction is terrifying because, like, it always has consequences, and most of the time people just kind of pretend that they aren't feeling those consequences and then do, and then it spirals into a complex, and their whole fucking life is PTSD nonsense. Like, if you don't talk through the problems that you're having, you're just gonna deal with those problems forever. So I've grown really intolerant of not talking through things. On that note, I'm mad at some of my commenters. Let me tell you, there are 3 categories of people I really struggle with, all right? The first one is people who are older than me because they think that they know everything just because they're older. And the second category is people who are younger than me because they cannot comprehend how much they don't know, but feel like they are entitled to be, like, on equal footing in every opinion anyways. And also people my own age, because they don't trust anybody their own age. So, all right, everybody's a problem today. Basically, I'm just gonna go through all the comments on the last few posts that I made, be they video or community posts, and respond to them in video form. Let's see. Because, well, actually, I'll just start with the really long one that I really want to respond to, that I actually inspired, that, like, necessitated this video, because I suspect this person won't even hear it if it's too late in the video. This is at Crunchy Bagels. Sorry, kid. I was originally going to post this comment on an alt, but considering it's stupidly long and I do stand by it, screw it. This is 5.5 years worth of thoughts about the direction of you as a person and your channel. All right. Now, when someone says something like that to me, my thought is, you must know me pretty well. 5 years of thoughts? Like, it's a lot of thoughts to have had, especially if I haven't heard any of these. Let's see where we're going. One of your defining messages as early Trixie was that you hated Digi. You literally made a video called I Hate Digi Bro. This is true. I hate Digi Bro. You've constantly talked about how much happier you are as Trixie instead of Digi. This is also true. And considering you suffer from gender dysphoria, that's certainly believable. Interesting choice of word. Believable. Like, are you constantly questioning everything you, like, hear in that way? Like, do you have an innate distrust of the things you're hearing from the, like, you just don't believe what people... I tend to think that everybody is saying what they think is true, even if they're, like, being memey or weird about it. Like, I just assume everybody is actually saying what they mean, and I just take them for it, you know? Unless they are being so explicitly ironic. This is one of the problems, like, when it comes to Dick Masterson, right? Like, people have a problem with the fact that I am friends with him or a fan of him, and honestly, I don't listen to it anymore. I do not listen to the Dick Show anymore ever since, really, the last few months. Sean left the show. It's not the same. It's just not the same show. You know, he's all in on the Dick Masterson character is contrarianism. That's the point. Dick doesn't believe in anything. He is a pure nihilistic force. He is just absolutely on that nothing matters, none of this matters, none of this will ever matter, none of this matters. And I understand thinking that's an unhelpful perspective. It's not helpful to me right now, which is why I'm not listening to the show. but it has a place, and it is a deliberate act with intent. And so the way he performs his character is to be contrarian at all times. He's always performing the antithesis. He's performing whatever he thinks is the opposite of the right way to be, to give you the ammunition to work against him. Because if your opposition sucks, he points that out and makes you realize, oh fuck, our opposition sucks. In 2005, he was making feminists look really dumb. He wasn't doing that because he hates women. He was doing that because he hates dumb feminists who make feminism look dumb. You get it? That's the character. That's why I like him. But in order to play that character, you have to always be in the most contrarian position. And for me, who's somebody who I actually am trying to affect the change, I actually do think some things matter. I think there's value in his existence and the people who he speaks to, but I also see a level of stagnation in like his core fan base where these people are not moving on. These people are not learning new things. They're basically just subsisting off the scraps of his podcast or they'd be dead, So I don't want to talk to those people. They fucking suck. I don't like being around his core fan base. I like him. I don't like his core fan base. Even still, this video comes off as a slipping of the mask. Perhaps it was not intended as such, but it feels like a complete 180 from all your messaging thus far. That's the part that was really weird to me about this comment. A slipping of the mask. What do you mean by that? Which mask? Digibro was a mask. Trixie is a mask. That was always the point. When I made the I Hate Digibro video, I wasn't saying I'm now my real self. I said I'm now a new character called Trixie. If you're trying to say that underneath the mask of Digibro and underneath the mask of Trixie are the same person, no fucking shit. How is that not obvious? I've been saying the whole time, all my content is basically the same. I've been saying the whole time, specifically what I don't like about Digibro. I didn't say I don't like about him that he's a crash out or that he drinks or smokes or whatever the fuck. I made my point about, like, in that video, I specifically stated what I didn't like about Digibro. I don't like... Digibro lacked perspective. That's the main thing. Digibro lacked perspective into who I actually am and what the world is actually like. I have Beatrice Collins. I have perspective into those things that I can project into the character of Trixie to make a more worldly character. Digibro sucks compared to Trixie. If you don't see that, you're a fucking idiot. You suck. I hate you. I wish you were in my audience. I hate the Digibro fans so fucking much. You suck. You're stupid. You suck. You're idiots. You're transphobic idiots. This leads me to my first point. Why are you going to YouTube commenters asking for advice on fixing your life? We don't know you. I don't know you. That's the point. That's the problem. Why don't you know me? Hold on. You've been watching me for 5 years and you don't feel like you know me? I make videos constantly about everything I do. What more is there to know? It's like you want it to not be real. You want the internet to be a distant thing you don't have to think about or emotionally engage with. You want it to be popcorn. You want it to be nothing. Meanwhile, over here, if you're Ellen Horai, if you're Amy Worrell, if you're Gary Always, if you're Landoname, if you're Maddie, if you're anybody in my Discord server, if you are Nico, if you are, I can't name everybody, I'm sorry. If you didn't get named, you don't talk to me enough. If you're not one of my musician friends, if you're not Sarah Louise, if you're not Bad Eater, if you're not Riley, if you're not Mint, if you're not Bird, or my parents, or Vic, or Hope, no, maybe you don't know me that well, but you know where I know most of those fucking people from? Making content on the internet. Most of the people who do know me, they know me for the same reason you would. They watched my videos, they liked my content, we got in contact. I flew to Oregon to meet Sarah Louise and record Gay and Dead. I've met Bad Eater twice in Dallas, Texas. I lived with Riley and Mint, both in Virginia Beach and in Kentucky. We met through the Dick Show. You are the one who wants there to be a separation and an I don't know you. The only way any of us knew each other was through each other's content. That's it. Some of those people, I didn't know they made content till I met them. They were just fans of mine. I've met a lot of fans of mine also, like outside of those people I just named who are also content creators. You could choose to know me. That was the point. I was saying I was going to involve you in a way that might make you uncomfortable. If it makes you uncomfortable, sorry, you gotta go. You're not a part of this then. I feel like I know things about you, evidently enough to write this comment, but that cannot replace physically seeing you and how you behave in a non-performative setting. You don't think I'm gonna be performative in a in a setting where I don't know how to not be performative. I'm performative when I'm by myself. I'm performative to myself, by myself, to show myself what I can do. I don't know how to stop performing. That's what I do. I perform. I'm a performer. It's my fucking lifestyle. Most of your fans are much younger than you, including me. That was really a strange statement to me, and I really hope that's not true. Actually, let's go into the analytics. Because it doesn't make sense for that to be true. I know that a lot of my very active audience, like the people who comment a lot, because they, young people have a lot of time to do that kind of shit. But most of you, if you've been watching me for more than 5 years, then you can only be so young, right? Like, unless you caught on when you were a baby, I guess. I'm 33. I'm not like a fucking old person. My audience is 46% between the ages of 25 and 34 years. So not much younger than me. Almost half of you are not much younger than me. 32.8% is 18 to 24 years. 12.2% is 35 to 44 years. 2.9% is 13 to 17 years. 4.4% is 45 to 54 years. So actually, the overwhelming majority of you are close to my age. 80% men also. I and most others watching don't have enough perspective on the world to fix our own lives, let alone yours. That's just not true. You're fucking lazy. You're putting off the responsibility onto the future. Young people have all of the exact same capabilities that older people do. There's no difference. Look at any successful young person. If you look at any successful young person, the main thing that separates them from other people their age is that they decided that their age doesn't matter. That, like, I'm allowed to do whatever I want regardlessly. The reason that Riley and I became friends, Riley is, I want to say 7 years younger than me, is that he was more commanding than I was as a person and a presence when I met him. That, like, he was willing to make phone calls and talk to people and, like, get through doors and do things that I just, like, I had convinced myself I had to, like, reach some other stage in life before I could do that kind of thing. Like, I had to be more famous, or I had to be... And, like, the reality is, nobody's making these fucking phone calls. Nobody likes doing that. If you just do that, you become that guy. That's what a producer is. A producer is somebody who hangs around creative people and then just, like, helps them make the things work that they're trying to do. Because they recognize that those creative people are creative and not business people. They don't know how to communicate with business people. The purpose of a producer is to be the liaison between the business and the art. And I was learning that from Riley, who was tremendously young. At the time, I think I was 28, so he was... No, he was at least 22 when I met him. So I would have been I can't do math. I'm 33. It was almost 5 years ago. So I was 28, and he was 22? So maybe he's, 6 years younger than me then. Whatever the case may be. I was impressed by his acumen in being capable of doing things as a person, despite being much younger than me. Munchie, too. When I first met Munchie, that motherfucker was literally 12. He was unattended at conventions, walking around, talking to adults, acting like an adult, making himself unignorable. Like, you couldn't avoid him. You couldn't be like, no Munch. Well, I guess I could have, like, told him to go away if I wanted to, but, like, I wasn't trying to get rid of this kid. But he was like, he was just like, hey, I'm going to come talk to you because I feel I should be able to. And he was funny. So I was like, okay, sure, whatever. You're allowed to be, you're hilarious, I'll make you everyone else's problem as much as you're going to make yourself mine. It was fun. I just, the mentality that like I'm young, but I've been watching you for 5 years. Like, how the fuck is that possible? My content should be aging you tremendously more than a normal person. Also, if finding this life-changing advice on YouTube really has been your goal for a decade, I reckon you're barking up the wrong tree. Even a compendium of 1,000 comments of good advice would probably do little to help you. That does beg why I'm even writing this comment to begin with, but shut up, this is for my own sake as much as yours. My comments have helped me tremendously throughout the years. Why do you think I keep doing it? I'm not doing it because it doesn't work. I'm doing it because it does work. The thing is that what I'm trying to do has changed tremendously over time because my perspective keeps shifting. And if you don't listen to what I'm saying, you won't understand that. And there's a lot of people who, like, when I stopped seeing the world the way that they did, they viewed it as, like, I broke. I'm broken and they're waiting for me to fix. There is nothing to fix. I left your world. I went to a different world that I decided to create for myself with people that would fit in there. And if you don't fit into that world, fucking leave. Or figure out how you fit into that world. I don't want to hear you bitch about how you want me to go back to the world you came from. I'm not from there. I don't want to be there. I have no business there. I doubt you even expect this to fix you in the first place. This is venting, and by far the scariest venting I've heard from you throughout your entire online career. That's surprising. No post you ever made as Digibro was as viscerally depressing and terrifying as this video was. I'm glad for that, though, because that means I've stepped up my artistic game a lot. Like, I don't feel worse. I feel better. I'm better at expressing how bad I feel. You know, like back then, I was masking so hard, I wanted it to seem fun. But it was way worse back then. It was way, way worse. When you became Trixie, most people noticed a sudden shift in your personality for the worse. Huh. You mellowed out, sure, but you also lacked much of the charisma you had in the old days. Because charisma is gay. Charisma is dumb shit that fucking... Oh, God, go listen to Drunk Sincerity by fucking Bad Religion. The fact that you fall for charisma is why you're such a young fucking piece of shit. Sorry, I'm not trying to, like, make you hate yourself or anything. I'm just... It's all just drunk sincerity. You seem to lose passion for YouTube, anime, etc., but you also lost a lot of your edge, or to put it in exceedingly blunt terms, you became kind of lame. I'm trying to be soft and help people. I became someone who cares about helping people who are way more damaged. Like people who aren't just like sarcastic, dumbass fucking first world internet posters. Like most of the people who I actually talk to are either like severely disabled, like super fucking schizophrenic and dissociative, or from the third world. That's like all of my Discord server. All the people I talk to day are people who... Anyway, Trixie just didn't seem to have as pointed or distinct a personality as Digi, nor was she as cutting and passionate in her anime analysis. Because I think you're all stupid for watching anime. Idiot transphobes chalked this up to you transitioning, but I chalked it up to the obvious and copious amounts of weed you were smoking. Why? One of my friends repeatedly called me stupid for thinking it was the weed. I think this video vindicates me. Interesting. I don't think the weed made me less passionate about anime, because for a while it made me more passionate about anime. But like the changes in my career mostly have to do with my lifestyle. I got less passionate about anime because I started fucking. I got with a chick and all I wanted to do was spend time with her, and like we would watch anime together, but it felt like a job, you know, and I kind of tried to get her to join the job with me so that I wouldn't have to feel like I was doing this boring job I didn't care about. So it was fun to do it with her, but ultimately her self-consciousness made it really difficult for us to like actually progress in the job together. You know, it felt like I was always kind of trying to coach her on doing it. And so like, you know, I was always kind of struggling with what I'm trying to do as like a manager of a career more than just doing anime analysis because like that's what I love to do. I literally went through, before I got with her, every anime I'd ever seen. I went through on After Dark channel and reviewed every anime I'd ever seen. There's nothing fucking left to say about anime. I don't know why y'all fucking care so much about anime. It's not good. It's not even fucking mostly good. I don't get it. Move the fuck on. Anyone who cares about you in your life should be trying to get you into drug rehab as quickly as possible. You know what that costs? This is not a joke. I have a friend who drinks more every single night than most people do in a week. I do too. Who still has his life more together than you do right now. I'm really curious what you mean by that. Like, somebody, if you're drinking more than most people every night, you do not have your life better together than I do. I'm sorry. Like, my buddy Landon, he lives in a house, he has a job, he has money. His life is not more together than mine. He is definitely dying younger than me. Because, I don't know, maybe I'll get lung cancer from smoking too much weed, I don't know. But, like, I'm going to be shocked if Landon makes it to 35. I'm sorry, Landon. I'll be shocked if you make it to 35. I really will be. Motherfucker lost 7 of his best friends. 7 of them. So, you know, I don't know what I'm supposed to say to that guy. I don't know what you think you are, little kid here. At least that guy doesn't have to struggle to remain sober enough to work. Then he's not... You don't know enough alcoholics. You need an intervention because you clearly don't have the means nor willpower to quit this addiction. That is true. But an intervention is not going to help me. Going to a $60 vape in 4 days is not normal. That is true. That's what I said. I've only donated the $1 Patreon tier for old bonus content and never more than that because I suspected whatever money I gave you would go immediately to useless crap like this. This is what I thought. People who pocket watch are disgusting. People who judge, what do you spend your money on? Pokemon cards? Fuck. Sorry, I'm not allowed to say that on... People who judge other people for their addictions are scum. Scum of the earth, disgusting behavior. What do? Use the internet? What do? Look at pornography? What do? Fucking eat sugar? Fuck you, dude. Absolutely fuck. Make money for the sake of being able to do whatever you want because you're addicted to being able to do whatever you want instead of living in like a mud hut like a normal human being at the root does? No. Buddy. Fuck off with that. You've said repeatedly in the past that Digibro was just a persona. I find this argument unconvincing. I've listened to your old vlogs more than 99% of people over the years. No, you haven't, because I don't know who you are. You said repeatedly in them that you were being as authentic as you could be. Were those lies? No, I was being as authentic as I could be. I couldn't be very authentic. I still can't be very authentic. That was the point of the previous video. I'm so deep into masking that the struggle to be authentic causes me to constantly consume drugs, trying to be more authentic, and I can't because the drugs aren't strong enough. That was the point of that video. Fuck! What you might mean is that your internet self and real self are 2 distinct characters. No shit. I've only said it 1 billion times. Which is true, but that isn't the same as being a persona to me. I don't care. Everyone on Earth acts differently online than in real life. Yeah? They also act differently when they're alone than they do in front of other people. So when you say Digibro was a persona, all I think is that you were being truthful in the same limited way everyone attempts to be on the internet. I don't know what you mean by that, but the word persona implies more than that to me. Maybe you mean something else by it, but if you do, it's lost on me. Play Persona, for fuck's sake. Play the video game with the name. Where do you think the reference comes from? Do you want to pursue YouTube as a job? I'm not 100% certain. It's my job, so what is there to be uncertain about? It's the only thing I've done other than, well, I did do another job for a while, but it's all I've been doing. I remember you saying you'd moved in your parents in order to pursue it. Now what I'm about to say, I just moved in because it was a good idea. Now what I'm about to say comes from someone who has not seen your Perfect Blue video. I haven't seen the movie, nor do I intend to. I don't know why you brought that up. But as someone who has sampled some of your other stuff, what do you mean by that? You do not know how to make or market videos anymore. You're relying on what worked before without understanding that the meta has evolved. No, I'm ignoring the meta because I hate it and I don't want to be involved with it. I'm accusing you all of being sick with this disease of needing things to be the way that it is, which is wrong. And you need to cut that cancer out of you and fucking get with my program. If you're going to sit in my subscriber base, get with my fucking program and stop with this nonsense, this fucking brainwashing from everyone else's content that you're bringing to my table that has nothing to do with me. But why should you trust me on YouTube stuff? Well, the reason why I considered writing this on an alt is because this is my main account. I'm by no means famous, but my catalog and achievements on this platform at least prove I have some experience with this. I didn't look into it. Look, what I have right now pales in comparison to what you had at your peak for sure. Digibro knew more about the old YouTube meta, or at least the AnyTube meta, than I do about the current one, and somehow what do you mean? But I forgot. Trixie forgot. But I know more about the current YouTube meta than you do. Bro, I know the meta. I'm ignoring the meta. I'm accusing you of being bad for following the meta, as I have been the whole time, by the way. First, I'm not telling you to go back to AnyTube. By my assessment, modern AnyTube is nearly impossible to grow in. But oh my lord, find something consistent at least. You pivot constantly. And this was a problem even back when you were Digibro. You need some level of consistency, or else nobody but a diehard minority will watch your stuff. That's true. I don't want anybody but a diehard minority to watch my stuff, but I am trying to be more consistent. That's the point of the Trixie the Swamp Witch little cartoon doodle, is so that I can be consistent. It seems like you put less and less into your videos, effort into your videos every time I check. For a while, they sounded really bad because I guess you either forgot how to mix audio properly or didn't bother with it, and the commentary was minimally touched up to the point where you'd leave in awkward pauses that I would have unquestionably cut. Well, I probably did it on purpose. You seriously need to up your video editing game too. Find an editing style that maximizes quality over the lowest amount of effort, though that will still probably be a hell of a lot more effort than you put into your videos right now. See, the thing about that is, I hate high effort videos. Like videos that have, that's not always true. I shouldn't say that. I love videos that have a lot of thought put into the effort. I don't like videos that have effort just for the sake of showing that they have effort. I love writing. I hate editing. This is obvious. I've never done good editing. I hired someone to do it, and I paid them an exorbitant amount to make it possible for a long time. That relationship fell apart. I do not pay an editor anymore. I'm scared to try to pay an editor. Most of the times when I do, the video doesn't perform well enough for it to make back the editing fee. I can't pay someone a fair wage to edit something for me if it's not going to make me the money back. I'm not that great of an editor. It's not a passion. I mean, I'm passionate about editing weird shit. Like if you go watch Media Melt magazine, that's the kind of editing I like to do. Nobody likes it. Nobody else enjoys that. So if you want to see me do editing that I would enjoy, you're not going to enjoy the video. I'm not trying to copy the meta. I'm not trying to trend chase. I'm trying to give you good fucking writing that no one else has. What are your titles and thumbnails? Unclickable, that's what. I don't know, they just describe the content of the video. I don't know what the fuck you want from me. Especially lately with the unscripted stuff, but to be fair, those videos are just kind of shat out, so it's whatever. Why do you feel that way? Fuck you for that. First of all, most people can't even fucking tell the difference. I get comments about how great the writing is on unscripted videos all the time. I bounce between scripted and unscripted every other video on the Trixie videos, so I don't know how you could possibly fucking tell. They're edited the same way. You'd have to really be trying to decide which one you thought was scripted or unscripted to be able to tell. And moreover, the unscripted videos are awesome. They're always making great points. You're ignoring them because you're bored by a lack of visual stimulation because you're a dumb child who isn't thinking about the content of what's being said to you. You want to see flashy lights, you want to see anime titties. Fuck off my channel. Let's take Perfect, for example. First off, most black box title in existence. What is the video even about? I don't know. Why don't you click on it, dude? There's no description, nothing I can cling on to understand why I would want to click it. Then don't! I have to already know who you are to click that title. No, you don't! I personally mostly click videos with mysterious names. If the title is something like, the algorithm has found you, or like, this video is in the ether for you, or so, like, it's always something that's like implying that God gave me the video. Those are the ones I click on. You are just a different type of person that isn't meant to see the thing. The thumbnail wasn't made by you, but it's also not good. If you have to clarify what show you're talking about in the thumbnail with text, you clearly didn't do a good enough job. Why? What the fuck logic is that's retarded? That doesn't make any fucking sense. There's a video on YouTube called YouTube Theory, Psychology of the Watch Journey. Yeah, I don't care. Fuck MatPat. It's literally someone recording MatPat doing a lecture on YouTube thumbnails. Yeah, I don't care. Watch that and then apply some of those principles. No, I don't want MatPat's fans to see I don't want young people like you to see my fucking channel. But let's talk about videos I've actually watched for a bit. Yeah, please. Anime with Personality is one of, if not the single worst video you've ever made, and I couldn't even finish it. The script is monotonous. You just say this anime has personality, but that anime has that personality over and over again. Old Digi would have analyzed off the cuff, let's say, I'm not reading this. This is gay. This is gay. What compounds this is all the excuses you make for yourself. You say it's about affecting people deeply rather than getting views and subs, but you need views and subs to live, my guy. No, I don't. I need money. No, I don't. I need you to shut the fuck up and give me money instead of retarded comments like this. I need you to get active and off your ass and either out of my viewership or be an active part of it. Those are the two options. You don't get to be this sideline sitting fucking... I hate this so much. You need to start targeting your videos more broadly because there's just no audience for this right now. You say your creative process relies on getting things out as quickly as possible. That's clearly not working. If you want this to be your job, take whatever amount of time you're spending on YouTube right now and quadruple it. It's all of it. Also, advance your career tactically as opposed to just cranking out whatever comes to mind. I am. Put these rant videos on a second channel, or more likely just make your old main the second channel and create a new main channel. Why? What is the logic? What are you operating on there? In conclusion, I want the best for you. No, you don't. Shut the fuck up. I really do. This crash out is just, it's terrifying, man. You need to snap out of, man, that's transphobic. So... you need to snap out of whatever you're going through mentally, and the only way you're going to do that is quitting weed and alcohol cold turkey. I'm not going to do that. Actually, I want to drink a lot more after reading this comment. You are clearly, and I don't have any alcohol, so fun that is. You are clearly incapable of managing a healthy relationship with these substances. Yeah, that's the point of them, dude. That's how addiction works. You don't have a healthy relationship with YouTube. After that, I'm not sure what you want to do with your channel, but just find something you think you can stick to for a few years that will get views and find the optimal way to market and present it. If you have to be weird, Trojan horse your weirdness into something that looks normal on the surface, that's like, please fix your life. I thought that's what I was doing with the Trixie the Swamp Witch thing, but I don't know. I guess that guy thinks it's super weird to be like a cartoon and have a voice. It's like the oldest form of YouTube video, but it's super weird to this dude. It's also like the way I started my career as a PNG tuber, but it's super fucking weird now that I'm doing it again. Holy shit. You know, the more I think about it, how is this fucking kid so stupid that he thinks that the 130-pound chick who has the lung capacity to perform a 20-minute live set or a 2-hour fucking rant video is less healthy than the fat bearded fuck laying on my back on the floor with a box wine on my chest, pouring. This is how Insomnia Analysis 2 started. I never forget this image. Laying on my back, pouring a box wine directly into my throat. And somehow that read less scary to this kid than me having a Modelo on camera and smoking my vape like 6 times. Grow the fuck up, dude. Holy shit. You haven't even seen me do real drugs. You haven't seen me do real drugs. I've never done real drugs and gone on... Well, I forgot I was also on acid during that one Gecko Estate video that starts off where I've got the huge fucking pupils and I'm like naked on the toilet. How the fuck is that not scarier than the garage video? Shut up, you dumb little fucking bitch. God damn. I didn't want to go this hard on you. Because I remember what it was like to be a kid on the internet and get bullied by the older people. And it sucked. I feel so much better about all, like, I really want to go back and apologize to, like, Wild Arms Hero and Otosan. Like, I'm sorry I was so fucking insufferable when I was 19. Because now I have to deal with it. Now I'm 33 dealing with 19-year-olds on the internet that I can't get to stop. You know? Like, either, like, there's 2 things you could do. You could stop listening to me at all, or you could shut up and actually listen to me. But the half measure is where it's just so annoying. All right, let's get a nice palate cleanse from that comment with a great comment. Awesome comment from Ben Jobson 3805, who said, as someone who's been watching your videos for many years and has also recently come out as trans. Your content has been borderline life-saving and extremely affirming for me recently. Screenshotted this for one rainy day. What are they talking about having screenshotted? Sorry if you're not a they, you didn't specify your gender. Gender isn't a choice. Gender expression is a choice. I did not choose to be transgender. It's something that happened to me. Transition is the prescription to the symptom of gender dysphoria. I didn't decide it would feel better to be recognized as a woman, and I wouldn't, because why would anyone? Nobody wants to be a victim. Why do you think it's so hard to come out? Nobody gives you a prize or something besides yourself. Kendrick is the only one who really got it. I choose me, I'm sorry. I choose me, I'm sorry. I choose me, I'm sorry. Moonlapse Opethian says, your content will always be amazing and appreciated. Thank you. Kaze Shikamaru says, I knew all that. What the fuck? Why is it? You have battery. You're not dead. Come on. Why do you keep restarting every time you're unplugged? I choose me, I'm sorry. I choose me, I'm sorry. I've probably seen it. Why is everything closed? Come on. What the fuck? You have tons of battery. Okay. Kaze Shikamaru says, I knew all that, but I do love your name and how it is blended on two great characters from fiction. Thank you. Beatrice and Trixie. God himself says, somewhere out there is an individualistic versus collectivistic breakdown of gender that somebody smart probably wrote. I said, you'd know, God himself. Irrelevant 472 says, even if it was a choice, what gives? Let people live their life in peace. I said, true. But I want them to also understand that this isn't something we're doing for fun, but survival. Survival. I didn't do this for fun. I did this so I wouldn't kill myself. RB Dap says, I mean, yeah, what happened? New people didn't get the memo? I said a lot of people don't really get it. Honestly, this was because of something my mom said about someone choosing a gender, and I was just kind of like, it's not really I didn't know how to explain it to her in the moment. So it became a Blue Sky post because I know she reads my Blue Sky, and then I thought it was really well written, so I put it on YouTube also. God himself says, I'm not surprised people misunderstand one of the most scapegoated groups in today's society either, sadly. That's true. Black Crowlong says, how about treatment? I said, what do you mean? Transition is the treatment for dysphoria. YouTube could really do... Oh, this is Josh Wen 989 says, YouTube could really do with a past usernames feature because for a good minute I had zero idea who you were or why you were in my feed. I said it could also do with a showing you anything I post in your feed normally feature. Holy fuck, like... If you haven't seen me since my past name, that's like 1,000 videos that YouTube didn't show you. That's fucking nuts. K-Hole 5809 posted just a yellow heart and a red heart. That's cool. Chapter Black with 3234 says, seeing gender as a social construct, I cannot help but perceive it as a choice. But unlike the fundamentally religious, I don't apply a moral judgment to that decision. I said, what's the choice? Live miserably or live miserably another way? Huh? Who chooses this? It's actually more accurate to say that God made the choice, metaphorically speaking. So what I mean by this, yeah, gender is a social construct. You don't choose how that affects you. You don't get to pick, like, you don't get to say, oh, gender is a social construct, therefore I choose I feel like a girl. Like, I don't know, maybe enough willpower could do something like that, but not for me. Like, I would, if anything, I was exerting a lot of willpower into trying to be a man, and it was failing very badly, and so I stopped. JR Super 24 says, you can count me as a hater or whatever if you want. I don't care what you are. I just preferred your previous online persona over Trixie. As far as I can tell, it's like two different people making the content. Well, that's the opposite of what that other kid was saying. I said, I don't care, and this is an irrelevant self-report. Are you enjoying it or not? It's dead easy to unsubscribe if not. If so, then why focus on your negative feelings? Am I supposed to therapize you through your feelings about my content? They responded, self-report? I guess you're calling me a transphobe just because I prefer the character and content style you used to do. Negative feelings? I'm just commenting on your public community post with a perspective that might lead to comments that might be interpreted in negative ways like transphobic, which I guess was unintentionally proven true by me saying it led to this sort of response. I'm subscribed because I know you can make content I like. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm a big fan. Good luck with whatever you do now or going through. Well, thank you for being a fan. I mean, if you still like the content, I understand preferring the old content in the sense of like experientially. Like if you like it because of the editing and the way that it feels to watch, I get that. I hate the way those videos feel to watch. I hate the way my voice sounds. I hate the approach. I hate the weird antagonism. I think a lot of the Digibro content is gross and hard to listen to. Some of it's good. Like subverting shonen tropes. I have no problem with that video. It's a Digibro video. It's exactly the same way I would probably approach it. You know, I'd have a little bit of a different voice. I wouldn't say anything really differently. But like, for instance, Mamimi is my favorite Fooly Cooly character. That one, it's not so much that it's like a personality thing as just the whole approach to writing it is just one I wouldn't take. You know, I just wouldn't write it that way. I think it's well written. I wouldn't write it that way. So like, to me, there's a definite difference, but it's not what other people are feeling like. So I think a lot of the thing that people perceive as being tremendously different is the editing style, which is just because I hired an editor. I don't know how many people don't realize that Devu was editing all of they're like really well edited videos, you know, like. But like from my perspective, my first Sword Art Online video that has over 1 million views is set to Terra Online footage. So from my perspective, it's like, okay, so my quality is that I write good videos, right? Like the editing doesn't matter if I can get 1 million views on a fucking Terra Online footage because the writing is good. I look at Noah Caldwell-Gervais, there is not editing in those videos. The scripts are really good. I understand that like that the expectation is that the videos would be a certain way, so people feel like, oh, that expectation has been subverted. But again, I spent a lot of money to hire an editor to make that their job. You know, like that was what Devu did for a time, was to be my editor. And like, I'm just not interested in like playing with that systemically anymore. Again, it didn't lead to good things in my life to like be doing that, you know? So it's complicated. There's just so much on the back end that like things can't be the way they were. So if you're expecting me to go back to a style that I did before, it's not going to happen. I've been specifically trying to make things make sense for me with my lifestyle. You know, when I used to make those videos, again, as Digibro, I never had a partner. I was not in a relationship. So like I had significantly more time in the day and I was miserable about it. You know, like I was filling it with more work, but it wasn't healthy. It wasn't good for me, like mentally, to be alone making shit all the time. And also I ran out of ideas. So it's like, it's just, there is no going back. People who think like, if you're fantasizing that there's some way I'm going to turn back into who I was 5 years ago, that ship sailed 5 years ago. It's not coming back. If anything, it will get weirder and more different. At some point, I'm going to stop talking about anime because I don't like it. You know, I like it. I like certain anime. I holistically don't like anime as a concept. I think the industry is fucked. I hate the fucking anime industry. I don't want to be involved with it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to empower it. I don't want it to fucking really exist in the form it does. You know, I would rather support independent animators and people who are actually making shit I care about. If you haven't been watching my content where I talk about YouTubers that I want you to follow, where I actually recommend you fucking channels that are good, then shut the fuck up. I don't know who I'm talking to by saying that, by the way. Berserk Chip said, Trixie, if you're looking for cash, you may want to look into your state's public partnerships program and see if you can have one of your parents enroll you as a self-directed caregiver for your grandfather. That's not going to last long. Also, I don't take care of him at all. I will for about a week before I move out of this place next month. I'm dreading it. Sometimes I wonder if I'm actually trans, but then I get misgendered by my mom and all doubts go away. Yeah, that'll happen. Sorry about that, K-Clow. I'm sorry to hear that happens to you. Alright, so obviously the camera fucking battery died. I wasn't really thinking about it. So I've been charging it for a while, listening to Kendrick Lamar, you know, calming down significantly. Also, a lot of new comments came in. And some of them are a lot more interesting than what we've been dealing with so far. I'm not going to read every comment because a lot of them are not really like interesting or relevant to you. At one point in Crash Out Chronicles, I said something to the effect of that, like, everyone has, like, an innate instinct that's, like, just take and make mine. And I was kind of being, like, I don't know, I was kind of, I was being over the top about it. But this person responded, HueyKind618 said, genuinely think that's a white people thing, and then a cringe face. And I thought about it, and I was like, well, I said, I think white people are less communal and closer to bestial psychopaths. Because what I was saying, Michael, the point I'm making in this, in that, is that everybody at the base layer is a feral psycho, but you get raised out of that. Like, who you become is being raised out of being that person. And I do think literally the more community you have, the more people you're around that are involved in you growing up, the more empathy you are bound to develop. And the more, like, sequestered you are, the more that your family is trying to be individualistic, the less of that you'll naturally develop. And that's something that, like, it's interesting with my family because they are very, like, fend for ourselves, like, fend for our family kind of mentality, but while also being, like, but we want everybody else to be able to do that, So there's always been kind of an odd push and pull with my family where they're conceptually favorable to others, but not necessarily in practice, other than, like, in, like, broad ways, like giving money to charity, as opposed to knowing who your next door neighbor is. So that's what I mean when I say white people are not as communal. And I'm obviously not all white people, and obviously not all black people are more communal. There are plenty of black people who are as feral as the most feral white person is. But I'm intrigued by this theory that they stated in response. I've got a theory using the chakra network as the bedrock of analysis. The TLDR of it is, due to the climate and environment of Europe, it led to y'all having to stay within an unbalanced lower three chakras, leading to the whole network being unbalanced as a byproduct. If you need a more scientific model of analysis for proper comprehension, correlate the lower two chakras as the reptilian brain using the Truine brain theory, and the third chakra being the ego that would come about from that limited scope of cognition. Maybe I'm being a bit of a eugenicist here, but I think it was a way of living y'all existed under for so long that those thought patterns remained genetically even after leaving Europe and seeing the abundance that was inherent in the third world before colonization. So I do think, God, how do I fucking measure what I'm about to say in a way that doesn't open like 2,000 million cans of worms? I think living in the North does things to your brain. I definitely think it does things to you. I think that when you... So, first of all, why do humans live in the North? We're all from the Fertile Crescent. We're all from this global equator. We're not from the far south or the far north. We're from the equator. We're from the Fertile Crescent, specifically. Humanity, I mean. Humanity decided that it had the means to fend for itself far away from home. Over and over and over again. Most of you have probably done it too. Even if you're still living at home, you probably would prefer to be fending for yourself far away from home. Am I wrong? Humans love to fend for themselves far away from home because they're scared of social consequences. Everybody has said that they are more afraid. This is common knowledge. It's been voted on over and over again over decades. People are more afraid of public speaking than death. More afraid of public speaking than death. I'm not afraid of either one, which is why I can do this job. Too much PTSD. I've broken past the chakra stuff. But I think that white people moving up to the cold, like that, like psychopathic determination towards, like being so determined to live on your own somewhere else that you developed an entirely different skin, like, color that fares better in the North. I don't know. Is that really how it works, though? Is that why are we white? Like, people from the far, far north are not white. Why do white people exist? What made us white? How did white people come? I know some people think that we are Yakubians, that we were created by Yakub, like an evil black Luciferian sorcerer who created white people as like a. If you don't know about any of this, I'm sorry. I live in a more interesting world than you do. Hey, okay, this person had also said that the moment I pulled the thing over my face was said Kanye moment. I said I thought the same thing when I saw it back, not having remembered it. And Kindred Corpus says it's weirdly synchronous given that Kanye's also been crashing out. This is the white Kanye West version. Kind said the skin tone and the politics, crying face. So I had a song called White Kanye West once. I used words I shouldn't use in it. That I don't anymore because I found out how racist white people really are afterwards. I come from a place where white people are racist, but also I didn't hang out with white people growing up, so I didn't understand like what it's like to be in a place where like it's all white people. Like I've now been to places where it's all white people and they're all like using the hard R N word and like listening to rap music but also being racist, and like I didn't understand that. I didn't know there were people who were like listening to rap music and being racist until I went to New York State. I didn't know about it, all right? They don't do that in Virginia. If you are racist in Virginia, you do not fucking listen to rap. Maybe young people. I don't know about young people. My generation, if you were racist, you do not listen to rap music. I'm not pointing at myself as a racist. I listen to rap music. No fucking white person who doesn't like black people ever listens to hip hop in Virginia. They don't do that. So that was alien to me. The idea that like white people who are racist don't say the N-word in Virginia in public. They say it in private. New York is different, all right? Upstate New York. All right, let's get back to responding to comments now that I'm actually plugged in to a charger on my phone here. Anthemic Lullaby Joshua said, I don't know, I just kind of had to make the decision one day to be completely resolute and not care what people who hate me think about me, which was way easier said than done, I know. I remember crying in front of my teacher last week and saying I love myself with more earnestness than I ever had in my life. Hey, shout out. I'm glad to hear it. I know you've been struggling. I've been seeing your comments for years, and, unlike that other kid who turned up out of nowhere and is like, I've been watching you for 5 years, but I never opened my mouth and I don't know you. I know you, Anthemic Lullaby Joshua. I'm glad you're making progress. You sound like the Kendrick Lamar song, I Love Myself. So I filled... it's the next night now. I filled up my phone recording and I started recording on OBS, like reading more comments. And I spent like 10 minutes talking about this nice comment that Ellen Horai left, talking about how presence is the most important thing and how the fact that she's like a consistent presence is what makes her so valuable to, particularly to me, because she's present in my channel, in my Discord and everything. She's the admin. If you don't know Ellen, you don't really know the channel, but she's the one who's always there for whoever needs her. So, I think that when we think that we need to do more, like, it's not that if someone's like coming to you, it means they want you in that moment, so it means that like however much you can offer is as much as they're really, nobody's expecting you to like produce something out of your ass that you didn't have. Like if somebody comes to you, it means that you have what they need. So anyway, I ranted for like 10 minutes and then I realized that the audio was not recording on OBS, and I was like, all right, I'm defeated. That tends to be, if I record late into the night getting drunk, it tends to be that at some point I'm going to get drunk enough to fuck something up, and that's when I will like the part of me that keeps saying, like, you can stay up forever, you can stay awake forever, it doesn't matter, you can stay awake forever, shuts off and goes, no, it's over. The night is done. You can't do anymore. So yeah. But I had forgotten to mention when I was bullying that one commenter, they were saying that, like, they mentioned the idea that the video is more similar to a Digibro video, which, like, in one of the concert segments, I literally am like, I'm letting Digibro's soul into my body, and then do like a whole, Fat and Dangerous bit. And it makes me think that he probably skipped over those segments. There was another commenter who, like, time coded how to skip over all of the musical segments, and it's like, well, first of all, there's the writing on the screen during the but also the musical performance itself was a part of the video. It was there for a reason. All of the lyrical content of what I was singing was part of the video. In fact, it's very easy to understand the lyrics because you can't hear the music at all. So, like, even if you're somebody who generally doesn't like my music, this was the one time that it would have been very easy to actually understand the message of the lyrics and which songs I chose to be my live set, to be my sort of, like, this is how I talk about myself, There's, if you're going to try to find depth or meaning in that video, you need to consume all of it. You should not try to look for depth or meaning in something that you are not willing to consume in its entirety. At the very least, don't talk about it. Don't, like, until you're done with it. At least, all right? Okay, that's it for this video. I don't apologize. Sunlight on the planet Dawn, I hope you have a lucky one someday under the sun. And time beyond this, nothing wrong. Yesterday is clean and gone. One day under the sun.